Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Now, one of my subscribers contacted me and said, why don't you do a top 20 of Elton's songs beyond the 1970s? Well, this got me thinking, what about doing a top 20 Elton John tracks for each decade of his recording life? So what I'm going to do is a video for each of the 1970s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010 and possibly one for 2020 so far. And so I'm going to begin with my choices from all of his studio albums from the 1970s, plus the Friends soundtrack. I'm going to include that as well. Now, can you guess what my number one's going to be? Well, you'll have to wait and see. I'm also interested in what you think and whether you can send me your favourites from 1970s. Now, I've got to say, this is a difficult choice, a very difficult choice indeed, because the quality of his albums, as we know, was extremely high throughout most of the 1970s. Anyway, here goes. Well, at number 20, no chart from the 1970s would be complete without a track from Captain Fantastic. In fact, I've gone for two in a way. My number 20 Elton John track is from Captain Fantastic, and I'm going for the wonderful ballad Someone Save My Life Tonight, the autobiographical story from Elton's early days as a sort of jobbing recording artist and band member. It's powerful. It is fantastic. It's got a great lyric from Bernie Taupin, and it's really dramatic, beautiful melody. So that's my number 20. Now, my number 19 is also from this, but it's from a bonus track because this track is Philadelphia Freedom. And of course, it didn't appear on an original album, but this has become such a great live track for Elton. Again, it's so skillfully written, orchestral backing, it's really rousing, it gets the crowd going, and it's a great sing-along track. So that's my number 19. Now, on to number 18, and we're going to the Caribou album for this one. Perhaps not my favourite album from the 1970s, but who can fault The Bitch Is Back? That's my number 18. A great rock number, an exciting lyric. This one still is an exciting track when you hear it 50 years later. And of course, beautifully done in the Rocket Man film. Great dance number to this at the beginning of the film. So that's my number 18. Number 17 is from the Single Man album. I'm going for the lovely ballad Shine On Through. It's the opening track on Single Man. It's a very gentle track. Elton, of course, famously performed this on the Morecambe and Wise Christmas show, which for American viewers was one of the most famous comedy duos of the 1970s. And he appeared on that show a couple of times, I think. And then we're getting to my number 16, and I'm going to Don't Shoot Me, I'm Only the Piano Player, one of my favourite albums of the 70s, got to say. And it's the wonderful ballad Blues for Baby and Me. It's a real slow burn, this. It's a story song. Great lyric from Bernie Taupin, powerful setting from Elton. So that's my number 16. At number 15, possibly a controversial choice, but one of my favourite tracks, got to say, from the Blue Moves album is Crazy Water. Not a particularly well-known Elton John song, but I love this song. It's got a great rhythm to it, exciting lyrics, good setting and performance from Elton. So I'm happy with that, my number 15. Now, number 14, I'm going to the Friends soundtrack album. Two standout tracks from this one, the title track, but the one I'm going for is Michelle's Song. A very gentle, beautiful ballad, this from Elton. If you haven't heard it, please give it a listen and see what you think. It's a lovely piece of work. Now, number 13, I'm going to another one of my favourite albums, Madman Across the Water. And I've chosen from this one the title track, Madman Across the Water. It's extraordinary. It's moody, it's brilliant, it's dramatic. It's got a fascinating lyric from Bernie Taupin. Great performance from Elton. You know, it literally blows your mind in some ways, and it's about you can read almost anything into it, but it's Elton at the height of his creativity. So that's number 13. Now, number 12, I'm going to the Honky Chateau album. and I'm going for the track Mona Lisa's and Mad Hatters. If you've seen my videos before, I'm a huge fan of that song, especially as I've only recently discovered what it's all about. And when you know the meaning behind it as well, it becomes even more impressive. Number 11 in my chart, going of course to the legendary Goodbye Yellow Brick Road album, and the last track on this, Harmony. Again, what an unusual, what a creative song, and just one of Elton's finest recordings from the 1970s, I think. Now we're into the top 10. And my number 10, we're returning to Madman Across the Water, and we're going to the magisterial, dramatic storytelling track, Indian Sunset. Just a magnificent piece of work, this, telling the story of Native Americans. It's episodic, it's got different melodies, different parts to it. Incredibly powerful, great vocal from Elton, and a wonderful lyric. Then we're going at number 9, we're going to the Elton John album. And quite a deep cut, this one, but I think it's a great track. First Episode at Hyenton. This story of somebody recalling a relationship from their younger days. It's just a piece of wonderful work from Elton. Again, it's a story being told, and being told extremely well. Now we come to number 8, back to Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, and I've chosen the opening track. It's a double one, cheating a little bit here, of course, but Funeral for a Friend, Love Lies Bleeding, and the perfect combination of two tracks. A great instrumental. I've seen Elton do this as his introductory track live on stage. What a great opening. And then going straight into that rock number, Love Lies Bleeding. Just works so well, doesn't it? 10 minutes of sublime music. So then number 7, I'm going to Tumbleweed Connection, which, as you know, if you watch all my videos, this is the album I've rated highest so far in terms of consistency of tracks. The one I'm going for here is the very spare ballad, which is called Talking Old Soldiers. This is about somebody getting old. It's about loneliness. It's about looking back on kind of your glory days, and such an emotional vocal performance from Elton there. Absolutely fantastic. And number 6, well, I'm going back again to Madman Across the Water and the track Leave On. Again, just listen to this track. It's glorious. He's using the orchestra there. It's telling a story about this sort of mythical character. It's powerful. It packs a real punch. What a fantastic track. Okay, time for the top 5. Now, don't forget, these are only my views. It's just what I like, and I'm interested in what you like as well. But, I'm not an expert or anything. These are just the ones I enjoy the most. So, number 5, I'm going for, from Blue Moves, Sorry Seems to Be the Hardest Word. Is this Elton's finest love song he's written? It's been covered by so many people. The original version, though, of course, is still the best. And it's just a work of wonder, I think. Great moving lyric. Everybody can relate to it, perhaps at some time in their life. So beautifully done. Now, number 4. Maybe these are getting predictable. I'm not sure. But how many of you will have a track from Caribou in your top 4? I'm talking about Ticking. Again, hardly anybody has heard of this track other than dedicated Elton fans. It's another story song. You know how much I like those. Just a brilliantly sung. What a performance. Just Elton at the piano. A little bit of backing coming in later on. But fine lyric from Bernie. And the toppy, of course, is All Too Current, isn't it? So great song, that one. Top 3 now, and if you follow my videos you won't be surprised, but back to Tumbleweed, and I'm going for the wonderful track Come Down in Time. A little bit of a jazz influence on this, beautifully sung. It's another little story about somebody who arranges a tryst with a lover late at night. Will they come down and meet the singer or not? There's a bit of mystery about it. One of Bernie's absolutely finest lyrics. Some great lines in this. Please listen to it if you haven't. Now down to the top 2, and of course I've got to have Your Song in that. It's a legendary landmark piece of work. People will be singing it for another 50 years, let alone still singing it 50 years after it was written. I don't need to say too much about that, except, it's genius. And number 1, Again, this won't be a surprise. I'm going back to Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, and it's the title track, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. No one will convince me that this isn't a work of absolute genius, because it's so radical in its structure. You know, the way that Elton sets these words, the words themselves are fascinating, and you can talk about them for hours, what actually Bernie means with these. But then listen to the setting. It's almost something that David Bowie might have written. You know, it's so unusual. You think, you know, you look at this, you look at the tune, you think, how can that be successful? How can people still be singing that 50 years later? Well, Elton pulls it off because it's so clever. It goes places you don't expect, but when you hear it a few times, you know, it sticks in your mind, and it couldn't really be set any other way that Elton does it. So, you know, for me, you know, great tracks there. I've picked 20. I could easily have picked another 20 from the 1970s. Please let me know your favourites, either your whole top 20 or just send me, you know, maybe your top 5 or whatever in the comments below. I'll have a look at them and do a follow-up video if there are enough comments. So that's it for now. Subscribe if you want to. I'll be back in a while when I visit the 1980s. See you soon.